He's got the luxury of time. Thornton's got off to a slow start in this one. But he's awoken now.
180. Colin, you require 76.
From being in the darkness, being ready to pounce. But Osborne will get first strike. It's a dart at tops.
36.
Unable
Robert,
to convert, and
36.
Thornton on the back of that 180 has earned this opportunity with
Game
three
shot on
darts
the
in
first
hand and
leg.
only needs the
Robert
one.
Thornton.
Going to get two. Going to be at the double
Game
16
shot on the
and he only
third
needs the
leg.
one.
Colin
Colin Osborne gets his first mark on the board for 2024. The
Robert, you require
PDC tour card holder
123.
once again.
Triple 18 and the bullseye for Robert Thornton. For the
Game
first
shot on
ton
the fourth
topper of
leg. Robert
2024, it was as easy as 1, 2, 3.
And you
Robert,
could see
you require
Thornton watching. He was
25.
almost as if he was thinking to himself, here we go, I've seen this before.
Game
And he's
shot
hit this
and the
before
match.
many times.
Robert
A very
Thornton.
good way to kickstart Group A here in 2024. We kickstart with the back-to-back Seniors World Champion Robert Thornton picking up the points. A hard-battled 4-3 victory over Colin Osborne. Let's hope that is the tone of the day. Both players just shy of the 97 average. A real good way to kickstart the year. And I'm sure it's going to continue when we've got our next game of Dil Pilgrim taking on the Lakeside runner-up, Chris Landman.
In the
Darryl, you
respect
require
of when
164.
one's flowing, the other one's going alongside. But when there's been a wibble and a wobble, the others tend to follow suit. Another one of them leaves the bullseye for Dil Pilgrim for
Game shot on the fifth
164
leg. Darryl
for
Pilgrim.
12 dart leg.
You
And it now
require
gives Landman the
77.
opportunity to win the match.
An unexpected opportunity to win the match.
57.
He pulls the dart low on top.
Darryl, you require 18.
Pilgrim offer any more gifts. Christmas is over, Darryl.
Game shot and the match.
It's a new year,
Dil
but it is
Pilgrim.
victory once again for Dil Pilgrim. He was made to work for it against Chris Landman. A 164, stemming the tide, changing the game. But it's Pilgrim who gets through in a last leg decide, and the mop of the brow kind of tells you about the relief that he'll be feeling. Both players averaging 83 in that one. 4 out of 16 on the doubles for Dil Pilgrim. It's swaves early on for Landman. A lot of the misses were low on tops in the end. It's Pilgrim who runs out a 4-3 victor against Chris Landman. Coming up after the break, we are going to watch Jun Kon in action against Conan Whitehead, the former champion. In these early stages,
Jun, you require
and he's looking
107.
comfortable on that stage. And he's going to go back to tops,
Game
which
shot
he
on the
pins
second
again.
leg. Jun
2-0,
Kon.
Jun Kon leads of the former champion 4-0 in his debut game here at the Super Series.
Game shot
And that
the match.
is a
Jun
statement
Kon.
victory for Jun Kon in his first game of the Moded Super Series. The Belgian qualifier has beaten the former champion Conan Whitehead by 4-0, doing so with an average of 88.5. 4 out of 7 when it came to the finishing, including a 107 out. Conan Whitehead, 86 and change. He missed all 3 darts he had at a double. Work for the former champ to do. So, round 2 kicks off after the break, and what a game this could be in prospect, as we see the 2-time World Seniors champion Robert Thornton up against the Challenge Tour winner from last year, Dil Pilgrim.
It looked like we was about to watch the end of the game. It might be about to be game on.
76. Robert, you
Really
require
took
20.
advantage of that small mercy, but Thornton is back for double 10. And this time he makes no mistake.
and the match.
And Robert
Robert
Thornton
Thornton.
steals a 4-1 victory against Dil Pilgrim. The Fawn goes 2 from 2 at the beginning of Group A. Pilgrim, who got the better of Landman in his first one, has been succumbed by the Scot in the second. That's the tail of the tape. Pilgrim the superior average, but 9 missed darts at a double for him in that one. As for Thornton, 87 average, 4 from 15 when it came to the finishing. And coming up after this short break, 2 players who have been to the jackpot match here at the Super Series. Conan Whitehead won his in Series 1. Colin Osborne lost his in Series 4. They go toe-to-toe after this short break.
16.
3.
Conan, you require
Match darts missed
85.
there, 3 darts in hand. This is an opportunity now for Whitehead to break the throw. he would become favourite once again if he can take this 85. It's going to be just one dart at tops.
Game
And
shot on the
Osborne,
sixth leg.
using the
Colin
same
Whitehead.
tactic, watching on the side screen, he's not going to enjoy what he has just seen. The opportunity to get the match wrapped
Seventh
up.
and final leg. It's Conan to throw
Gone for Colin
first.
Osborne. Can he?
Game-
And so Osborne comes back for the target that Whitehead couldn't lay up.
Game shot.
And he
and the
finds
match,
it last
Colin
dart in
Osborne.
hand. And Colin Osborne, this time, the right side of a 4-3 scoreline. He gets the better of the former champion Conan Whitehead in a last leg decider. It's 2 defeats of 2 for the Barbarian. He's going to have to draw upon those battling qualities in the group that is to come. That's the tail of the tape from that one. Both players with 13 darts at double in that particular match, but it was Osborne that found the match-winning one. We're going to take a short break, and upon our return, we're going to see Chris Lamben, the Lakeside finalist from last month. He takes on Jun Kon. At least 6, could be 9 from 181.
140.
Oh, what a leg this is. Max 140, 140 to leave 41 after 9 darts. A potential 11 dart leg to put himself within a leg of the match.
85.
We spoke about the
Chris,
gears
you
this man
require
has,
41.
and he's gone through them in this leg. Tots from an 11.
Game shot
That
on
is
the fifth
absolutely
leg. Chris
superb
Lamben.
from Chris Lamben. Just when he needed to ignite the switch, he finds an 11 dart leg.
She
And
required
Lamben
12.
comes back to the board again, this time for the points. This time,
Game shot
Landman
and the
gets
match,
over the line
Chris
and
Lamben.
converts. He gets some more points on the board today. Chris Landman joins the players on 2, avenges that defeat in his opening game. For Jeroen, he wasn't able to follow up that heroic 4-0 victory in the opening game, but shown enough signs that there's going to be plenty of positivity for him throughout the day. Can Conan Whitehead find some positivity? He's coming up next, taking on Robert Thornton.
And it goes just above
Conan,
the
you
wire, and it
require
may just be a
86.
dart of the bullseye here for Conan to save it. He gets a better prize, double 16 and now double 8.
70.
And that miss could seal his
Robert,
fate.
you require 40.
I don't think that's just to save this match. I think that's to save his hopes of qualifying directly here through this Group A. But a low dart, and again,
Game shot
the
and the match,
flexation of that
Robert
wrist will keep
Thornton.
an eye on that as the day goes on. But the one thing we know about Robert Thornton is he continues to win. 3 games played, 3 games won. It's the opposite though for Conan. All 3 of his games have ended in defeat, and he has an uphill climb here in Group A. We will see him anyway in Group B and C, so the urgency button needs to be pressed, but not the panic button. Dil Pilgrim takes on Jun Kon coming up next. Minimum requirement here would be a treble. He's got that. He can still attack this 144. He's just missed the 160. It was the same combination.
Shot on the
It was 2
fourth leg,
trebles and the
Jun
double.
Kon.
But on this occasion, he's been able to land it. His second tumpless finish
Fifth
of the
leg,
day
it's
so
Darren
far. Instead, it might be the last dart he throws.
Game shot and the
Because
match,
Jun Kon,
Jun
the
Kon.
Belgian qualifier, has beaten the bookmaker's favourite to go on and win the group. He was a 40-1 outsider at the beginning of the day, the Belgian. Dil Pilgrim was 13-8 on, but it's roles reversal there as Jun Kon averages 93.65. 4 out of 11 on the doubles, aided and abetted by that 144. He also missed Totso 160 as well in the match to get the better of Dil Pilgrim by 4 legs to 2. We're going to take a short break. When we return, we're going to be watching Colin Osborne in action up against Chris Lamben. Not quite been able to weave his magic wand in this game. But has he got one final? Big dart in hand, a
Game
double
shot and the
16
match,
to win the
Colin
match
Osborne.
4-3. And that could be a seismic result because it means that he has a positive ratio for the day at the end of the 3rd round of fixtures. He beats Lamben in the last leg decider by 4-3. The Wizard's successful, and he has a chat with Jack Garwood about the events of what's just happened. A 4-3 victory for Colin Osborne against Chris Lamben. We're going to take a short break, and upon our return, Whitehead and Pilgrim could well be electrifying.
And the Dolans
Colin,
had
you
so
require
many
106.
attempts to get past that point.
Whitehead attempts the 106, double 18.
Shot on the first leg.
But tongue
Conan
topper to
Whitehead.
start for Conan, his first of the day. Now
90.
Pilgrim pulled off the mini
Conan,
bite
you
back,
require
but Whitehead's
100.
here. A ton to complete the job. It'll be his first victory of the group. One more at tops.
Game
Is
shot
all
and the match.
he
Conan
needs,
Whitehead.
and the former champion is on the board. Finally, it's a win for Whitehead as he gets the better of Dil Pilgrim by 4 legs to 2, and a little bit of a smile to the camera as well, in probably relief as well as celebration. But for Dil Pilgrim, the woes continue for him. As for Conan, well, it was a big up in the performance. 2 ton plus finishes in a 4-2 victory, 92.48 the average. 4 out of 5 when it came to the finishing. He was absolutely immaculate there for Pilgrim. Well, that trouble on the outer ring has continued for him, and that is what's been plaguing him on this Tuesday in Group A. Well, coming up after the break, it's Chris Lambert in action up against Robert Thornton.
Chris, you require
20 points away from the points.
Double 10.
Game shot and the match.
And Chris is the
Lambert.
first man to land defeat upon Robert Thornton. A 4-0 success for the countryman against the Scotsman. If he pins this, he'll throw for the match. And
Game shot
throw
on
for
the
the match,
fourth
Jun
leg,
Kon.
Caron.
He leads Colin Osborne by 3 legs to 1 tops, and he's been so good on this today. It's a carry-on for Caron. The wins just keep coming. He gets the better of Colin Osborne by 4 legs to 2. That's his latest scalp, his latest victim. And JC is flying. As for Colin Osborne, the spurt that he put on towards the middle portion of the day had just come to a grinding halt. Caron with an 84.5 average. 4 out of 11 when it came to the finishing, including that 70 checkout in there as well. Just had that little bit too much for Colin Osborne. Missed opportunities there for him. 2 out of 10 when it came to the doubles. And so we reach the final round of the day. And we will kickstart that with Chris Lambert against Conan Whitehead. Big game for both to see where they position themselves following day 1. So for 2-0 lead in the break of throw, Lambert's got 6 from 98. It's going to be double 12. He finds a double 12. And that is a 12 darter for Chris Lambert. 115.62 is the average at what could well be the halfway stage of the match. And he has left Conan Whitehead spinning amidst the surface. And he's continuing and continuing and continuing. And you know that we were talking about Dil Pilgrim and all the records that he broke in 2023? Well, let me tell you now, the average for Lambert stands at 122.28, and it continues to rise as he heads towards a 9.
140.
He went 5 deep.
Starts to make a bit of a move.
The bull for 3-0. This is superb from Chris Lambert. This is a perfectly polished performance to end his day, and Conan Whitehead, if he doesn't laugh, he's going to cry.
Leaves a double 10.
Game shot on the 5th leg, Conan Whitehead.
Just when you ask the questions of Conan Whitehead.
Himself on 32 to complete the job and to eventually get over the line.
He may have took the long way
100.
home. He'll just be hoping to get there.
32.
Double 16.
Game shot and the
for
match,
victory for Chris Lambert. He was made to work for it in the end. He raced into a 3-0 lead. He was setting record pace at that particular time. But Conan Whitehead, true to the champion that he is, came charging back into the match and sent us all the way to a last leg decider. Conan's last game of the day, but he's got nobody to throw any flights up to the balcony to. Lambert, a 4-3 victor with a ton plus average, 50% when it came to the doubling. It was a good way to end his day. That is for sure. Well, coming up after the break, Colin Osborne and Dil Pilgrim going toe-to-toe. This is a big game for Mr. P.
Osborne. But these are big.
They don't get
Shot on
bigger than the
fifth leg,
fish.
Daryl
And
Pilgrim.
Mr. P has turned his fortunes around. He leads 3-2 with a moment of majestic
Sixth
magic.
leg, you require 20.
And keeps him in pace and in touch with those at the top. Double 10
Game shot
for the
on the
match, for the
Colin
win,
Osborne.
for Colin Osborne. And Daryl Pilgrim, when he hit the big fish, must have thought that he'd turn the screw to go 3-2 up. Osborne then hit back with an 11-dart leg and then takes out the decider. It's been a day of disappointment for Daryl Pilgrim, but he knows that he'll go again tomorrow. He had an average of 93.06, 3 out of 9 on the finishing. The scoring phase has been good today. At points, it's been the doubles that have let him down. It's Osborne who picks up the match. 4 from 5 on the doubles, the key turning point and the key factor in there. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, our final match of the first day of 2024 here at the Modus Super Series. It sees the twice world champion in the seniors division, Robert Thornton, in action against the Belgian ADC qualifier, Jun Kon. 6 from here, so doesn't have to attack it if he didn't want to. Oh, this is stupendous. This is double 10. That's a 1-2-8 from Jun Kon to level up at 1-1. Jun Kon, who has had the dream debut, is now 90 points away from beating the great Robert Thornton. He's going to have a dart at double 5.
No score.
Oh, no.
Robert, you require 10.
I can't believe that. He's miscounted. I don't know what's happened there, but whatever's happened, Thornton mops up the double 2. Jerome is going to have to just
100.
decompartmentalize on this. It's been a
Robert,
good day altogether.
78.
But Tuesday has been Thornton's day at the Super Series. He wins 4 from 5. He is the best man on the first day of 2024. The Thorn will be the pace setter going into tomorrow's affairs and the final day of a congealed Group A. As for the Belgian Jun Kon, well, what a debut day he has had. He has picked up some considerable scouts. The likes of the former champion, Kona Whitehead, the likes of Colin Osborne, a former grand finalist in this competition. Daryl Pilgrim, who had the biggest average on the stage at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. But it is Thornton who succumbs in the last game of the day. It wasn't a classic, but Thornton dug in, ground the victory out. And it is he who is going to be top of the pile going into day 2 of Group A. And the Thorn, who is looking to make it through to a record 10th final here at the Super Series, is in very good stead to do it by the most direct of passages through Group A. He gets a better Jun Kon in our last game of the session by 4 legs to 3.
Yeah, indeed, he does. Robert Thornton having a good end to the day. Had a very good start to the day as well. Matthew Eggers been in comms along with Henry Deacon today. And we can look at the results from today. A lot of players holding throw.
I'm not surprised. When you get quality, when you get experience, that's what I expect to see. I expect to see most players winning with that advantage of throw. And I think there's been so many stories and little mini battles going on. I don't think anyone's really looked comfortable up here today. And I said at the very start of the day, we're going to get to see who sort of used this time well. We've got to remember, most of the players that come here to the Super Series are not full-time professional dart players anymore. A lot of them have other jobs. So when you get to the holiday season, opportunity to see the family, have a bit of time away, a bit of time off, and that might also include not practicing as much. And I think we might have just seen a few signs of that today. I think tomorrow we're going to see that really tighten up, and we're going to see the stories come to a conclusion tomorrow with some real good battles expected.
Yeah, well, that's probably a good place to pick up on Jun Kon, who, of course, was an ADC qualifier for this tournament. We've never seen him before. Look, he did lose that last match, but he's shown some fabulous stuff today, hasn't he?
Do you know what? On the backside of a day like today, when we've seen everything happen and we know the story that has been unfolded, maybe we should have foreseen this coming, because when we take a look at that Christmas period, for Jerome, this is the biggest stage he's played on. This is his biggest opportunity. Over Christmas, over that time, if he's had time off, he would probably been preparing for this more than the other players, because for the other players, this is a continuation. They're coming here again. They come here regularly. It's just part and parcel of their makeup now. For him, This is a big opportunity and his chance. So he's probably been actually, in preparation side, been harder working than the rest of the field coming here for this opportunity.
Yeah, good point. We'll take a look at the table. Remember, this is a 2-day group this week, Group A. So being top of it at this point, probably more important than usual.
I think Robert Thornton will be extremely happy to be top. He got his wins on the board nice and early. He really did seem to be breaking down as the day went on. At one point in that game, well, I say one point, for the majority of that game, he was running in a 60 average. And his average has been dropping game by game. He's been on a bit of a slide. So for him to have the points on the board, brilliant going into tomorrow. He can get some rest. He knows what he needs to do tomorrow now. And ideally, for Robert Thornton, this is the week.
Yeah, 3 players behind him, as you saw there, on 6, but maybe more significant, the 2 at the bottom. Conan Whitehead, former champion, not just champion of a week, but overall champion of a series here. And Dil Pilgrim, arguably the best performer we've ever had here. Maybe a little 16-year-old might have something to say about that, but he's produced the best performance we've ever had here, also only on 2 points.
I was asked a question, actually, at the back end of 2023. He said, with Luke Littler moving on, who now becomes the face of the Super Series? I think Dil Pilgrim was my answer. Mason was asked the same question. He said Dil Pilgrim. Everyone thinks Dil Pilgrim was going to be the man for the Super Series. That's if he doesn't get a tour card, which I think a lot of people expect him to do that as well. Didn't produce it today, but it's one day. This is a week-long tournament. He can't lose it today. He can't win it today. Whatever he does today isn't going to affect Saturday, and that will be his ultimate goal. He's got another group. It's just going to be, which group is that going to be, is the question.
Yeah, so you think it is Thursday or Friday now for Whitehead and Pilgrim, and the other 4 fight it out to get through to finals night tomorrow?
Absolutely. If this was a normal Group A where we got that extra day, I think he could have turned it around and got himself back into it. But Robert Thornton's already on 8 points at the top of the table. The likelihood is he's going to pick up a couple of wins tomorrow from his 5 fixtures, and then that mathematically will rule them out.
Well, we will find out. Thank you, Matthew. We'll see you again tomorrow. We hope to see you again as well here at the Motor Super Series. A fantastic start to the new year, but it's Robert Thornton sitting pretty at the top of the table. And we will, of course, tomorrow be chatting a little bit more about what's been happening elsewhere. Luke Littler and Scott Williams both performed well on this very stage. We wish our very best to them in the semi-finals of the World Championship tonight. And we'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.